Hello, this is Bud. This lesson we're going to talk about making a triangle with a gradient or taper. The objective is, we're going to make a triangle, but we want the base to be further out from the point of where the tip is, so that it looks like a beginning of a pyramid or something of that nature. And it's going to be something that we're going to place on the board with other items. So we don't want the background to be tapered, we just want the triangle to be tapered. So let's see what we can do. Okay, I've got Designer up, and let's just work with this for a minute. Give me a second. Okay, I'm going to go to my line icon and click on Connected Line Tools, and we're going to have an odd shaped triangle. It's not going to be right angle or equilateral or anything else. It's really going to be odd, and what we want to do is be able to deal with this thing. I'm going to start my base on the bottom. Let me start. I'm going to start the bottom base first, and it's like here, and then I'm going to come up to here, and this point that I just made is where the narrowest point is going to be, and then let's just come back down to here. Maybe it's more like that. Okay, so there's no right angles, there's nothing really precise about it, so I'm going to have to deal with it a little differently than I would something else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this triangle a pattern to start with, and then modify that pattern until I get it where I want it to be. You'll see why as we go along. So I'm going to assign a carve region, and I'm going to come down here and click on Group and highlight Group, and the Make Pattern appears. I'm going to click on it, and under my favorites I'm going to title this thing A Triangle Test. And we're going to throw this away. Come over here into my pattern library and go to favorites and come down here. Where is it? Clear to the top? Yeah. A Triangle Test. Click on it and place it on my board. And I'll get rid of this. Okay, so there I have my triangle. Now again, this was my base. So my taper starts here and it goes up this way, so that this whole baseline is the same height all the way across. So what I want to do is I want to go back to my pattern and double click. I need Pattern Editor to do this. Bring it down so that you can see it a little better. I'll bring this over. I'll get out of it and come back into it. Okay. I don't know if I can get this. Okay, that works that way. Alright, so I'm going to go to Tools, Rotate Tweak, and I want this line to be on a right angle, which it is. And that gives me that. Okay. So now what I do is I go to File, go to Pattern Library, and I'm going to resave this thing. So I'm just going to click on the name, click Save, and click Replace. And I have it oriented the way I want it. So I get out of this for now. I get out of this, click here, get out of that so that I've got everything the way I want it. Go back to Favorites now and pick up my new pattern and place it on the board. And get out of Pattern Library. Move this thing around so I've got it where I want it. And that's my triangle. Okay. I'll make my depth on this triangle a 0.6. From that standpoint, just so I've got something to work with. Now I'm going to go back to the library, and I have backgrounds and gradients, and I'm going to get a taper here. This one may have noise on it, but I'm going to use it for my demonstration. And I'm going to click here, enlarge this thing, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm done with the phone call, so we'll go from there. I've got my taper set up over the top of my triangle. I'm going to click on Merge and make it additive, and I see my triangle. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to get pretty much maximum use out of this taper from top to bottom. Okay. And everything is the way I want it. Okay. The depth on the taper, I'm going to put it at 0.7. Okay. The height, let's see what a 500 does. Okay, let's tilt the board here a little bit. The triangle height, let's make it a 900. Doesn't show me that much, but it is a difference. That's what I want, so it shows up. And if I actually looked at it, okay, if I take the plus off of the taper, maybe I'll see the same thing. Okay, there. We can see the taper high on the left end here and low on the right end. So by placing the plus merge, the additive merge, that makes the triangle blend in with that taper, which is what I wanted. Okay? So there we have that. So I'm going to highlight both of these, and I'm going to do a group. And the way I do that is I hold down Control and click on each thing. Now I'm going to hold down Control again, click on Group, and my Make Pattern lights up again. I'm going to click on it, and it's in Favorites. My original is a triangle test. I'm just going to put a -A for sanity. and I have a new pattern. I'm going to throw this away, come back to my pattern library, favorites, and come down and get my triangle A, and come on here, click it, put it in here. The depth is way too deep, so I'll up that at a 0.7. There I am. And I've got my gradient is the square, so I have a problem in that it's not doing what I wanted it to do. Or at least I've got more than I want. It's like what we've tried to do, and so far LHR has not taken up our request, is ideally I should be able to do a triangle and then go into the dome option on selecting surfaces and apply these tapers or gradients. But we don't have that option at this point, and I do not want a rounded dome type situation. I want this to be a linear gradient going all the way up the triangle. So this is what I've got to do, but I don't want that background in my final product. So I'm going to throw this away, and I'm going to double click on the triangle that I just built. Okay, so now if I click on the square here and click within my figure, I'm going to start outside of the box that I want and draw a box to just the bottom of my triangle. Alright, once I've done that, then I'm going to come up to the eraser, make sure the tool height is 0.0. I can set the size of the eraser. In this case, I'm going to be doing a massive thing, so I'm going to set it at size 50 and just draw down through this yellow box, and that erases the excess on that side. So then I click on this square again and click within my figure. So now what I'm going to do is come over to the tool icon, come to rotate and tweak, and I'm going to start here at this edge and go up to the point, and it rotates my figure that way. And if I did it exactly right, I can come to my crosshairs and know that I've got it on the triangle the way I want. Click on the dotted box, click within the checkers, and now the same thing. I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to draw my yellow box down to the edge of the triangle, come to the eraser, and erase everything that I don't want. Click on the dot box, click here, come back over to tools, rotate and tweak. This time I'm going to come to this side of the triangle, click, and I don't have to go all the way. All I have to do is give it the approximate, and I've got it the way I want. So click on the dotted box, click within the checkerboard, go to the eraser, and whoops, I didn't want that. I want one here first. Now I have to draw. In this case, I'm going to start at the bottom so I can sneak up on this triangle. Right there. Now that I've got that, click on the eraser, And I've got that. Click on the dotted box, click within the checkerboard. I have to make sure that I didn't leave any portion of that other taper figure. But let's say it's okay. And we'll find out here in a minute. Go to File, go to Pattern Library and Save. Come back down here, and we're just going to change the A this time. We're going to leave it A and save and replace. And I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so here's our pattern. On the last lesson I made on the making a complex pattern, we spoke about what's high and what's low. The darker the color, the deeper the blue, basically the higher in the wood or in whatever material we're going to carve. So in this case, this light green should really be over here on the right hand side. So I'm going to filter and I'm going to invert. And we can see that this pattern does have some noise in it. I can clear that by smoothing maybe. Possibly not, but that is not what my concern is right now. It's just showing you. Okay, and I also see a spot that didn't get erased. So I'm going to just run over that. Click. And it should be okay, other than the noise on this taper. I do have other tapers, but we'll just go with what I'm using here. Save the pattern. It's still in favorites. And this time it is without the background and all that, so I'm going to just click on this and I'm going to make it B. So at least if I want to, I can come back to the A and save. And it's saved. Alright, so I can get out of that. Don't need to save it. Click in here one time and X out of it. Back to favorites. I guess I should have looked at the this triangle A, this is triangle test, this is test B. Okay. Okay. No, it's okay, it's the depth. Okay, so I'm going to just X out of this. Let's bring this thing back up. I forgot to look at it. The depth is at 8 inches. Okay, so I'm going to put a 0.75 and then do a save again. Triangle B. Replace. X out of it. Don't save it. Click in here and X out of that because that's what it had in its memory. The favorites. Triangle test B. Click it in here. So now if I look at this, I can see that this short base is my highest and the tip is my lowest. So if this was on something else, let's say it's within a carved rectangle that is set at a carve region of a 0.75, let's say. Now let's make it a little less than 0.75. Let's make it 0.73. There. We can see that the base is full but the taper goes all the way up to the point on the right. And that's what I wanted. So I now have a pattern that is triangle test B that will do this, and now what I can do is I can rotate this thing any way I want. So you can see here. Come on. And as I rotate this thing, see, no matter what I do with my triangle now, the shape stays the same, the taper stays the same, and that is how I can make a triangle with a gradient or taper. It would not have to be a triangle. It could be a circle that I wanted one side to be lower than the other. It could be a crown. It could be anything. The concept is there. I hope you enjoy. Talk to you later.